I let my entire family disown me for refusing to pay $500,000 for my nephew's life-saving treatment. They thought I was a greedy monster. They didn't know I had discovered the truth. The tragic illness was the perfect cover for a sophisticated scam. My silence was a trap, and I was about to expose it all. There have always been two brothers. Me, Brian, the older one, and Leo, my younger brother. We were two sides of the same coin. I was the planner, the pragmatist. I built a successful logistics company from the ground up, brick by painstaking brick. I have a beautiful wife, Aria, two great kids, and a life of comfortable, predictable stability. A life I worked for. Leo was the artist, the dreamer. He saw the world in colors and emotions I could only read about in books. He lived in a charming, slightly ramshackle house with his wife Chloe and their 5-year-old son Sam. They didn't have much money, but they seemed to possess a kind of happiness that money couldn't buy. Our family was close. Sunday dinners were a sacred ritual. I loved my nephew, Sam, as if he were my own. He was a bright, energetic kid with his father's artistic soul. When I looked at my brother's life, I saw a man who had what truly mattered. At least, that's what I believed. The first crack in that perfect picture appeared on a Tuesday. I remember I was closing a big distribution deal when my phone rang. It was Leo. His voice was hollow, broken.
Brian, can you and Aria come over tonight? It's about Sam.
Just the tone of his voice sent a chill down my spine. The usual easygoing lilt was gone, replaced by something brittle and terrified. When Aria and I arrived, the atmosphere in their house was suffocating. The usual scent of oil paints was overpowered by the sterile smell of fear. Chloe's eyes were red and swollen. Leo looked like he'd aged 10 years in a day. They sat us down on their worn-out sofa. Then Chloe broke the silence, her voice barely a whisper.
He's been so tired lately, Brian. We thought it was just a bug, but he kept getting bruises. The doctors, they ran tests.
Leo took over, his words precise and clinical.
It's a rare genetic disorder, a type of aggressive leukemia. The doctors here say the prognosis isn't good. They've given him a year. Maybe.
My blood ran cold. I felt Aria's hand grip mine, her nails digging into my palm. Sam, little Sam. Before I could even process the shock, Leo leaned forward, a desperate light in his eyes.
But there's a chance, Brian. A clinic in Switzerland. They have a revolutionary treatment. They think they can save him.
A flicker of hope. I held on to it. Okay, I said, my voice firm. Okay, what do we need to do? Whatever it takes. Chloe finally looked at me, and her expression was a mixture of hope and profound shame.
The cost, Brian, it's astronomical. It's $500,000 up front.
The number hung in the air, heavy and obscene. $500,000. It was a staggering amount, even for me. But this was Sam. Leo's gaze was fixed on me. It wasn't just a look of hope, it was a look of expectation. In our family, he was the dreamer, and I was the fixer. He was counting on me. I looked at my brother's desperate face, at Chloe's tear-streaked cheeks, and I gave the only answer a man could give. Don't worry, I said. Let me look at my finances. We'll figure this out, I promise. But even as I said it, a cold, sickening knot was tightening in my gut. Because there was something they didn't know, a secret that made this impossible request 1,000 times more complicated. To understand my choice, you have to understand what happened a year ago. It was Sam's 4th birthday party. I went inside the house to grab my camera. As I walked down the hallway, I heard Chloe's voice from the spare bedroom. She was on the phone, her back to the door.
I know. I miss you too. No, he has no idea. He's completely wrapped up in his art. Of course he thinks Sam is his. He looks enough like me to pass.
I froze. Every muscle in my body went rigid. It felt like the floor had just dropped out from under me. It couldn't be true. Chloe and Leo were the perfect couple. I backed away slowly, my heart hammering against my ribs. I had to know for sure. I did something I'm not proud of. I hired a private investigator. I just wanted him to tell me I was wrong. He wasn't. The report he delivered contained photographs of Chloe meeting another man. The dates spanned months, including the time Sam would have been conceived. But that wasn't the worst of it. The investigator got a DNA sample from the man's coffee cup. I had one of Sam's baby teeth from a memento box. I sent both to a private lab. The results came back on a sterile white piece of paper. Probability of paternity, 0%. My brother Leo was not Sam's father. His perfect life was a lie. Chloe had betrayed him, and the child he adored was the product of that betrayal. I sat on that information for a year. What could I do? Telling Leo would absolutely destroy him. So I buried the report in my safe and said nothing. And then Sam got sick, and they came to me, asking for $500,000. They were asking me, the only person who knew the truth, to liquidate my family's future to pay for the consequence of Chloe's affair. I spent 2 days agonizing. My wife Araya knew something was wrong, but assumed it was just the stress of the money.
"We'll make it work, Brian," she'd said. "We have to. It's Sam."
She was right. If Sam were truly my nephew, I would have sold my company without a second thought. But he wasn't, and I kept picturing Chloe's words. All I felt was a cold, hard rage. Finally, I called Leo and asked him to come to my office. Alone. He walked in, his face etched with nervous hope.
So, can you do it?
I looked my brother in the eye. "Leo," I began, my voice flat. "I'm sorry, I can't do it." He stared at me, blinking.
What do you mean? Not the whole amount? Brian, anything helps. We can mortgage the house, sell the car.
"No, Leo," I said, cutting him off. "I won't be giving you any money, not for this." The hope in his eyes died, replaced by a dawning, horrified disbelief.
You won't? You're sitting there in your palace of an office, and you're telling me you won't save your nephew's life? Your own blood?
"He's not my blood, Leo," I screamed in my head. "And more importantly, he's not yours." But I couldn't say it. "It's my final decision," I said, my voice like stone.
Why? Just give me a reason, you monster. Why?
"I don't have to give you a reason," I said. "The answer is no." He stood up, his face a mask of pure hatred. He turned and walked out, slamming the door so hard that a picture on the wall rattled. The war had begun. In 1 second, I went from savior to monster in the eyes of my entire family. They didn't know I had proof in my safe that could instantly exonerate me. But this key to my salvation was also the weapon that would destroy my brother forever. And now, as their hatred grew with each passing day, the question wasn't if I would save Sam. The question was, how long could I endure playing the villain before I was forced to burn everything down, just to protect my brother from a truth that was far more terrifying than any disease? The weeks that followed were hell. Leo and Chloe started a GoFundMe. Chloe wrote a long, heart-wrenching post. At the end, she added a carefully worded paragraph. "We are fighting this alone," she wrote. "We have learned that some people value money more than family." She didn't have to name me. Everyone knew. People I had known my whole life looked at me with contempt. My own parents stopped returning my calls. Aria, my wife, was caught in the middle. She couldn't understand my refusal.
"I don't get it, Brian. People are saying horrible things. Your mother called me in tears. How can you let this happen? It's not who you are."
"It's complicated, Aria," was all I could say. A pathetic, empty phrase. I was losing everything. My family, my reputation, the respect of my wife, all to protect a man who hated my guts. The GoFundMe stalled out at around $20,000. Their desperation grew, and so did the family's pressure on me. Little did I know, the consequences of this stalemate were about to become terrifyingly clear in the update that would follow. I thought I was facing a moral dilemma, but one sleepless night and an internet search changed everything. I found Sam's biological father, and when I saw his social media profile, I realized this was no longer a story about a broken heart and a family lie. His page featured a photo of a brand new sports car with the caption, "Big risks, big rewards." I dug deeper, and it turned out his job was a manager for an investment fund specializing in experimental European pharmaceuticals. Suddenly, my nephew's tragic illness stopped being just a tragedy. It started to look like the perfect cover for a $500,000 scam. This discovery changed everything. My grief turned into cold, calculating anger. I wasn't just going to protect my brother. I was going to give him the truth. One rainy evening, there was a frantic banging on my front door. It was Leo. He was drenched, wild-eyed, and completely broken.
Please, Brian, he sobbed. I'm begging you, as a brother. We're going to lose him. I'm going to lose my son. Please, save my son.
This was it, my last chance to just write the check and make it all go away. But I thought of Chloe's lover and his new sports car. Giving them the money now would make me an accomplice. I looked at my broken brother. Leo, there is something you need to see, I said. Come to my office tomorrow at noon, and I promise you the money will no longer be the issue. I went to my safe and pulled out the manila folder. The next day, Leo arrived at my office. I just slid the folder across the desk. He opened it. He saw the photos of Chloe. Then he saw the kiss. His whole body tensed. Then he got to the final page, the DNA report. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with horror.
What is this? It's a joke, right? This is some kind of sick, twisted joke.
I wish it were, Leo, I said softly. I've known for over a year. The dam broke. He sank back into his chair, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He stared at the paper, then back at me, the pieces of his life rearranging themselves into a new monstrous picture. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just sat there in the ruins of his life, and I could do nothing but watch. Leo left my office that day like a zombie. The next thing I heard, he had confronted Chloe. It ended with her packing her bags and leaving. She couldn't deny it. The news ripped through our family. Suddenly, all the pieces made sense to them too. The phone calls I received now were of stunned, horrified apology. My mother called, sobbing, begging for my forgiveness. My father came to my house and just hugged me, but I felt no triumph. I just felt an immense, hollow sadness. The family saw me as the victim now, but all I felt like was the messenger who had delivered the fatal blow. So, before we get to the update, it's time for the final verdict. Based on everything you've heard so far, who was in the wrong here? Was I right to withhold the money and force the truth out, even if it meant destroying my family's peace? Or should I have just paid up and let my brother live his happy lie? Cast your vote in the comments. Now let's see what happened next. It's been 6 months since the truth came out. The dust is still settling. Leo and Chloe are divorced. It was confirmed she and her lover planned to use my money for an investment. He is now under investigation for fraud. Chloe has moved to another state. Leo is a ghost of his former self, but he's fighting. He's in therapy. Our relationship is healing slowly. We have dinner, just the two of us, once a week. It's a start. My parents are trying to make up for their judgment. Aria knows everything now, and she has been my rock. Our marriage is stronger than ever. And now the most important part, Sam. After Leo left my office that day, I made a decision. The child, Sam, was the only truly innocent person in this. The day after Chloe left, I set up an anonymous trust. I funded it with the full $500,000. The trust is managed by a law firm, its sole beneficiary being Sam for his medical care. Leo was informed by the lawyers that an anonymous donor had guaranteed the full cost. He has his suspicions, but he has never asked me directly. Sam started his treatment in Switzerland 2 months ago. The initial reports are positive. The doctors are optimistic. He is a fighter. I may have been forced to become a monster in their eyes, but in the end, my cruelty was an act of love. I protected my brother from a lie, I shielded our family from a predator, and I made sure an innocent little boy got the chance to live. And for that, I have no regrets.